So welcome back to another video. I am absolutely covered. I've just finished fitting some pieces to the TTS, which we're going to be going through in this video. So sit back, grab a cold one or a hot one, and let's see what I've got up to this week and what I've managed to finish off today. Let's do this.
So a nice easy one, just put it inside a Powerflex insert into the bush for the dog bone, but this bolt would not undo. I tried gunning it, I used a bar on it, everything. I could not get this undone.
Just to show you things don't always go to plan. There's a bush. One bolt. Would not come out. It is seized in there. It tore the bush trying to undo it. So now I've got to replace both of those, and to get the top one in, I've now got to drop the subframe. All of this for one bolt. Oh well, it is what it is. Maybe that will move up a bit and give us a bit more space. Hopefully. I just can't see us doing this without dropping the subframe.
So I cleaned up the area and got rid of any burrs.
I think I might have a result. There actually isn't a ridge. That was just build up of crap. So I should be able to just knock them both straight through this way. Oh my God, if I can do that, that'll be... I'll be well happy if I can just do that. So hopefully that one will just bang up, and then the other one will bang up, and happy days. Let's see if that works out. This might be a right result. I need to get that one in line and smash that one up as well. Just got to get this bit in, and then we're good.
Trust me, it's not as easy as it looks. I was doing this for hours trying to get these bushes in.
So now we've got those bushes in, we can now get the Powerflex bush in, which hopefully it will just slide in lovely, but it's not gonna. But we have got a new dog bone as well, so that will be going in. New hardware, new bolts. Yeah, let's see if this thing's gonna slide in. I very much doubt it's gonna. I'm pretty sure it's gonna give me some jip.
I was so surprised on how easy this actually slid in, and so grateful it wasn't giving me any more problems. So let's fit the new bolts and then torque them all up to spec.
Now that's all torqued to spec. Happy days. Nice little modification to do. It's well worth doing, and hopefully it won't be as much of a ball ache as this one's been. Right, now let's get on to the next bit. We will be whipping the sump off in a minute, because we will be changing the pickup pipe in there, and we will be putting a Viz freewheeling oil balance shaft delete. I always think it's worth putting these in while you're here, because you never know when those shafts are going to seize up, and with the mileage in this car, I don't want to take any risks. And I also want to see what the condition of that strainer is, because I very much doubt this sump has ever been off. So let's crack on with it. And if you want to know how to do this in a little bit more detail, I'll have a video of it up here somewhere. But I was going to crack on with this one and get it done.
So I started off by just removing any bolt that was holding the sump in place. There's 3 bolts on the transmission side, and then there's quite a few 10 mils, and there was one hidden which I found.
That should be all the bolts off. Looks like this whole thing does have to come off. You have to take all of this frame off. Well, I did anyway. I think for 163,000 miles, that ain't looking too bad.
So now let's replace the pickup pipe. 1 bolt, 1 seal. In goes the new one. Nice and easy. I'm only using genuine parts. So now we need to get on with the freewheel. So just gun the old one off. There's the torque specs. So in goes the new one. I like to turn the engine over by hand very slightly like that, so it helps get the new cog in, and obviously torque that all up to spec and place the cover on.
That is the sump back on. I've just got to put the oil feed back on, I had to move loads of things out of the way because you have to get this aluminium frame out of the way so it runs through here. So let's button this up. Apart from that frame, start it up, make sure we've got no leaks. Obviously, put a new oil filter in and make sure we put the new oil in. So let's do that now. So I had to replace the camshaft sensor because when I was putting this cover on, I broke it. There's the old one. See, I broke the housing. It still works fine, but you know what I mean, for like 30-40 quid, let's just change it up. Are starting to get on there. Yeah. Right, let's do it. But it's running, which is good. Let's check for oil leak.
So with the car running, I was having a good look around underneath, all around the seal, to make sure we had no oil leaks, and it was all looking pretty good. So happy days with that one. So let's now change the rear diff oil. Nice and easy job as long as the bolts come undone. So always remove the top one first just to make sure you can fill it, and then release the bottom one to let the old fluid out and have something to catch it. It wasn't looking too bad, to be fair. So in goes the bottom bolt back in, and then we're going to pump the fluid into the top hole until it starts to spill out, and then we know we are full. So once we've done the rear one, we're now going to do the front one.
Now that's the rear diff all done.
And this was more difficult because the fill was very hard to get to, but it is doable. So there's the drain, obviously the fill's at the top. So same principle as doing the rear one, get the top one out first, the fill one out first, and then release the bottom one. And this stuff was disgusting. This has definitely never ever been changed. Look at the colour of that, it was brown. So with all that fluid all draining out, it's literally exactly the same as doing the rear diff. Put the drain one back in and then pump the top until it starts overflowing and spilling out, and then you know that is level. Happy days, that is another job done. So now let's tackle a little bit of bodywork. So the rear diffuser was not fitting correctly, and that was clearly because there was a crack, and also one of the fixes at the top had snapped off, but it was still there. So I managed to melt the plastic back together with a soldering iron, basically just like doing plastic welding without a plastic welder, but the principle's the same. You just melt the plastic together so it fuses together. I find it a lot stronger with glue, and where it is, it's never going to be seen, so it doesn't really need to be that pretty. So with that all melted back together and strong, I could then fit the rear diffuser back on, and there's the top one all welded. So now I'm going to tackle the spoiler, and it was rubbing because it was misaligned, which is quite simple to do. It's a couple of bolts underneath, Torx, so just loosen them off. I went up and down a few times to find the sweet spot of where it's set absolutely perfect, and when I was happy with where it was, as you can see, a lot better, a nice consistent line. Beautiful. And then tighten this up. So now I'm going to remove the exhaust down a little bit so we can replace that heat shield.
Like that, the old one's out. Or still in, so I'm going to try and pull these out, but if it feels like something's going to break, I'm not. Some Audi don't have any fixings in, so let's pull those out. So I managed to get all the clips off. So here's the old one, here's the brand new one, so let's get that in.
So I refitted the new exhaust heat shield, genuine one, and I used the push clips, which I usually just put a 10mm on the end of the extension and just hit the end of it, and that locks them all up in place.
That is that heat shield, all nice and secure. Much better than that old rattly old thing that was falling off. So time to get it back on the rubbers, and then that is another job done. So I've just got this flap to put on.
You'll see from the previous video when I first got this car that this was always missing. So obviously brand new, genuine one, which just slots into place, and then there's one screw underneath.
Huh. That's that. Looks like it just pushed on that, so I'm just going to get the roof up now so I can put the screw in that I just made and a little washer, and then that is another job done.
So I'll just start the car up to make sure we don't get a low battery, because it is just sitting here while we operate the roof flaps. And up with the flap, now I can access that screw. And there we go, all fitted, lovely jubbly.
Another job done. Let's get in the car and change this as the original one. It wasn't quite working properly, that didn't light up, that wouldn't go out, that switch, I think that switch is basically faulty. I have got another one. It's actually the second one I've ordered. The first one, the other switch was broken, so hopefully third time lucky, well third time or second time lucky, well third light unit, this is going to be all right. So let's bang that in, nice and easy to do.
So with a trim tool, I could just get behind the back of the light and prise it out, like so. Swap the connections over and refit the new one.
Right, that's a nice little simple job to do. I'm just deciding whether to tackle the ball joints at the moment. I know it's something I need to do, or whether we save that for another video, because we have crammed quite a lot into this one. I don't know, I think we're doing pretty good with the project. We've done a lot, we've achieved a lot today. We've done a lot of things that I know what we're going to do. So we're just going to go and fit this new bonnet release pin made of aluminium, so it's not like those plastic ones that are going to keep on snapping, and it's made by Loza Solutions, and TT Spares on eBay are selling them. So you can get one there. I will find a link and put it in the description, but it's definitely one of those must things to do. So let's go and whip the original out of the car, come in here, swap this over and put it in. It's so easy to do. Just like that. That is very simple. Just make a bit of space so you can see what is happening. So what we've got to do, let's get some light on the subject, is pull this out, pop this one in, happy days. And literally push that thing back in there like that. That's it. Done.
So I did decide to go and change both the front lower ball joints while I was out there. Quite simple to do, and one of them wasn't advised on the last MOT, but 18mm nut on the top, 16mm on the bottom. I also scribed round the old one so I had a little idea of where to fit the new one, but the car will definitely need tracking afterwards. Let's just put a little touch on the steering wheel just to fill up that little plain space there. I did this with my other one and I think they look good.
Well, doesn't that look pretty? Happy days. I think we're getting there now with the TT.
While I was on the roll, I thought I'll go underneath it and just give it a nice quick underseal. It just looks a lot cleaner under there now.
I hope you enjoyed what I got up to this week on the TTS. I feel like we've achieved quite a lot. There's still a few bits to do. I am still waiting for parts, and especially what I'm waiting for is the chain. Obviously we've done the cam belt in a previous video, but I want to change the chain as well because the tolerance is out and it is showing signs of stretch. I'm still waiting for that, and it has been, oh, I don't know, I ordered it like a couple of weeks ago, but it's, what's it today? It's Thursday the 27th, so it should be dispatched today. They told me it was in today. So all of that should be with me, which hopefully we can do for the following video. But I do know there's a bolt, I think it's the cam adjuster bolt, which could be an absolute nightmare. So it's going to be one of those things, it's going to be a 5-minute bolt or it's going to be a 5-hour bolt. It is what it is, but we need to get that done. We have a bulletproof TTS, and then we can decide what we're going to do with it. I do think it is coming on quite a nice car, and I don't know if I want to keep it or sell it or tune it or anything. You let me know in the comments what you think we should do with it. So the cheap TT ain't that cheap anymore, let me tell you that. And we will go through a listing of what I've spent. I need to know whether it stayed under the budget, and the budget for this build was 5k including buying the car. So I think if you can have a sorted TTS for 5k, I think that's a result, isn't it? But yeah, so hopefully we get the chain because that next week with some other little bits. So I hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.